Hello and welcome to Tales from the Hangar Aircraft Rarities episode about the Armstrong Whitworth AW670 air ferry that was called the car ferry in its early stages, and the AW671 Airbus, and that's a name that will never catch on. These aircraft were designed to replace the older Bristol freighters that were getting basically hammered flying short multiple sectors with high maintenance costs, and to offer much longer route options with much larger payloads. Air ferries were popular over the English Channel from 1948 to 1970, with over 200 flights per day at their peak in the 1950s, when they were much faster and not that much more expensive than sea ferries. The aircraft used were the Bristol Freighter and DC-4 converted Aviation Traders ATL 98 Carve Air. That aircraft in the end won the orders from the AW670 and 671. The air ferry services ceased to be economically viable in the 1960s with the introduction of faster, more reliable roll-on, roll-off sea ferries, plus hovercrafts on some routes. The AW670 and 671 were developments of the civil AW650 and the military 660 Argosy Transport cargo aircraft. The civil version was also called the freighter coach in Armstrong Whitworth's advertising, but this name never stuck. So the Argosy first took to the skies, powered by the excellent but screamingly very loud Rolls-Royce Darts on the 8th of January 1959. Amusingly nicknamed the Whistling Wheelbarrow, the Argosy first went into service in October 1961. The main customers were British European Airways and the Royal Air Force, and various other small operators along the way. A total of 74 Argosys were built from 1963. They were finally produced under the owner's parent name of Hawker Siddeley. The Royal Air Force retired them in 1978 and replaced them with the Hercules and Andover. Oh, and the RAF nickname for them was the Whistling or Flying Tit, and you can see why in this photograph. In civil service, the last Argosy retired in 1991. Flight International reported about the Argosy. It has been negatively impacted by the emergence of the long-haul passenger jet, as many surplus propeller-driven aircraft have been converted to freighters during this era, thus driving down both demand and prices for new-built cargo aircraft. And here's three company advertisements. In the left ad, note the underproduction for the air ferry. Maybe they claim this as a majority of the parts were being built or used for the Argosy. And the next one along, don't worry if you can't make out the text, I'm mostly nicking it for this episode's narration. And the last ad, AW670 with a car ferry name. Armstrong Whitworth Aircraft published details during the early days of the Argosy's development, a variant designed for vehicle ferry and Airbus operations, and this is taking advantage of the developments of the basic AW650 Argosy airframe. With the Argosy wing and tail unit, the AW670 has a new double-deck fuselage, which has a lower hold measuring 58 feet by 15 feet and 7 feet 1 inch. The overhang from the front and rear camshell doors increases the available hold length to 61 feet 10 inches for car ferrying. This is sufficient for up to 8 cars in 2 rows, using the fuselage size as reference. These can be driven straight on or straight off in opposite directions, so the driver's doors open onto gangways near the fuselage sides. After the wing, the height of the main hold is 9 feet 2 inches and the rear door aperture is 8 feet 6 inches high, so most types of touring caravan could be accommodated in the ferry version. Provision will be made for 32 passengers in the forward upper deck behind the flight deck. For Airbus operations, 114 passengers could be carried. Armstrong Whitworth has suggested the main undercarriage legs should be fixed and fed for ferry operations to simplify maintenance, but would be retractable in the Airbus. The nose wheel will be fixed and fed in either case, with refuelling points on the main legs. The AW670 would have turnaround times as little as 10 minutes on cross-channel operations, when complete refuelling would not be required. The vehicle ferry would carry a £25,000 payload for 140 nautical miles, or £20,000 payload for 420 nautical miles, while the Airbus would carry £20,000 for 350 nautical miles, and in all cases with normal reserves. The AW671 Airbus is a double-decker capable of carrying 126 passengers, that's 30 upstairs and 96 downstairs. The Airbus has the same basic fuselage as the AW670 air ferry, which carries 6 cars on the lower deck and 30 passengers above. Operators whose car ferry's traffic is purely seasonal will find it very easy to convert air ferry to Airbus and vice versa. The spacious hold of this aircraft can of course be used for general freighting. Armstrong Whitworth promoted both aircraft with great flexibility and economics for their operators. The AW670 and 671 also reminds me especially of the front end of my favourite fictional aircraft, Thunderbird 2, from Jerry Anderson's TV series Thunderbirds. Anyway, it never got off the drawing boards. The AW670 and 671 may have gone on like the Argosy, that in the end was a reliable and well-liked aircraft by its operators. It may have possibly performed well in the specialist freighter market, who knows. Silver City Airways is shown in one of the illustrations. I'm not sure in fact if they ordered any or took out any options. The air ferry market could only run for so long anyway, with the changing trends and the way people travelled. Thanks a lot for watching. Please like, share or subscribe. Do drop in a comment if you wish, and for now, thank you and goodbye.